Word up. It's the code word. How's it going, everybody? Let's look at some comics. These are Dell 4-color comics again. I think we're going to look at comics from the years 1955 and 1956. We're going to be looking at them upside down in a stack and backwards. Not upside down, but backwards. Look at what happened here. He's always prepared. That's the deal with Uncle Scrooge, is that you always expect him to have thought to the next step. January 1955 is this comic. This is Dell 4-color comics, number 611, Walt Disney's Duck album featuring 5 complete duck stories. So these are really cool. They would do this probably a couple times a year. You know, once again, Dell 4-color, which is what we're looking at today, is a weekly comic. It was a weekly comic. Started in 1942 and ran all the way up until 1962. And it ran for 1,354 issues. I think it's the longest. I think it holds the record for being the longest consecutive running comic series. And this was weekly, as I mentioned. So this is fun, great stuff. The first one we looked at was the Duck album. Beautiful, lovely, fantastic. What's going on here? It's Lady and the Tramp. So yeah, this might be the spoiler to the entire end of the story. So the next one we're going to look at is Dell 4-color number 629, Walt Disney's Lady and the Tramp and or with Jock. That must be the name of this Scottish Terrier, right? So this is cool. You know, 555. So that's May of 1955. So this is interesting, right? It's Walt Disney's Lady and the Tramp. Isn't this neat? But this isn't actually the story of Lady and the Tramp that we've already seen. Get this thing out of here. Why is this all over the place? This isn't the one that we've seen already in the movie. This is an extension. This is further adventures of Lady and the Tramp. Everything that we saw in the movie has already happened, I believe. This isn't actually Lady and the Tramp. This is a separate, continuing story. Although here's these Siamese cats. Am I right in saying what I'm saying? I mean, it wouldn't be called... Yeah, this isn't, this is not the same. I don't know, why am I confused about this? Obviously, it's not the same. Chip and Dale. These guys are great. 4-color number 636, Walt Disney's Chip and Dale. Is this a turkey? Is it turkey soup? And is that what that is? Wishbone? Or do people do that with chickens too? I don't think so. That's just a turkey thing, isn't it? The art in here is really good. So you might think Chip and Dale, it's just a children's comic. It's just for kids. It's just silly, right? It's not. It's deeply Kafka-esque. Very Kafka-esque. It's see, look what I'm saying. It's very deep. Look at this. So yeah, if you think that this is just for kids, you know what Socrates said. I forget what he said. No, he said, I know that I know nothing, is what he said. That's what Socrates said. I know that I know nothing. All right? So yeah, this is not just for little kids. It's for everybody. Whoa. See what I'm saying? Quick, Dumbo, wake up. Fly, bonk. Hey! I mean, this panel alone should make you want to go buy this Chip and Dale comic. Davy Crockett at the Alamo. These were very popular. Davy Crockett was very popular. I used to get one of these hats, these coonskin hats, like Every summer when we would go to Disneyland, it would be one of the first souvenirs that I would usually pick out. Pick out one of these hats here, and I'd pick out like a rubber knife or a rubber spear, or maybe like one of those rubber snakes, like one of those cobras or something. Remember those? I was always going for that type of stuff. This looks pretty good. That's Fess Parker. Okay? Fess Parker as Davy Crockett. 1955, folks. Davy Crockett's very popular. And Sir Walter Raleigh is really popular. It was a household name. Sir Walter Raleigh was doing the evening news. No, he wasn't doing the evening news. He really wasn't. He was some sort of a dandy. Look at how he's dressed. Look at that. No, he's some sort of explorer. And Betty Davis, she's Queen Elizabeth. She sent him on some sort of an adventure or something. I never paid attention to this entire historical part of history with Queen Elizabeth and all of these other movies. Elizabeth, I am Elizabeth, you are Elizabeth, I was Elizabeth, Elizabeth the First, Elizabeth the Second, the Virgin Queen. I didn't pay attention to any of it. I'm not a chick. I never really got into Shakespeare either. But the art in here looks good. This is the stuff I like. I don't have to watch a movie or even pay attention in history class. I'm sure I learned about this, but I don't need to. I completely brain dumped it because I felt it was of no use to me. But now I can just pick up this comic book and I can know everything that I need to know about this part of history and about Elizabeth I and Sir Walter Raleigh. I can learn it all. This is all I need to know in a Dell movie classic, number 644. Beautiful yellow cover with, who is this guy? Richard Todd. That is it. Betty Davis, Richard Todd, and Joan Collins. Cool. Where's Joan Collins? There's no pictures of Joan Collins. She's third billing. I want to see Joan Collins. Look at it. Look at Betty Davis. Ugh. All right. Dell 4-color's a trip, isn't it? So the next week after that, what we just looked at, which is something that only a mom or a weird older brother would have bought, we get Bugs Bunny's album. So similar to that Duck album we looked at earlier, this is going to be like 4 or 5 stories that's just Bugs. And boy, you know that Duck album cover, were they taking a picture on that one too? Or were they just playing music? It just kind of looks like a picture. Aha, see? So, home photography is very popular. Comic books are being sold in the same place as people buy film and camera accessories most of the time, pretty much. Unless it's like right at a newsstand or something. But otherwise, comics are for sale in places like pharmacies, 5 and dime stores, places where there's other magazines that are photography oriented. Get it? Marketing. Genius marketing. What was her name? Helen Mayer? She's the vice president of Dell. Helen Mayer, vice president. Telling you the patriarchy was really slipping, right? I don't know what George Delacourt was thinking, but I think George Delacourt, I don't know that much. I don't know true history about this, but I feel like he was probably living that yacht life, and Helen Mayer was probably doing a lot of work, logistical work and such. But her numbers were outrageous. These duck comics were selling like I checked it out. These duck comics were selling like 7-8 million copies a month. I'm not kidding. It was outrageous. It was ridiculous. So ducks were huge. Not this particular one, but like Donald Duck and later Uncle Scrooge. They were huge sellers, like monstrous. Anyway, this is Dell 4-color number 649. It's another Walt Disney's Duck album and another camera cover. See what I'm saying? So this 1955 still, and I'm thinking that no, this is 56. All right. No, is it? I can't tell. It's 55 or 56. This whole stack is 55 or 56. Anyway, This is great stuff, and it's nice to find it in good condition like this, and 'cause you can still find it for inexpensive like this, and there's a lot of it out there because, like I said, every one of these was selling like millions of copies a month. These four colors even. This is a weekly comic, but still they were selling, in the millions. I'm sure, maybe close to a million every week of just the four color. Francis, the famous talking mule. This is a movie series. Maybe I don't know how many they made. I watched a few of these as I was a kid on black and white TV in San Jose, California, on channel 36, the perfect 36. This is Donald O'Connor, and this is a talking mule. Not sure who was the voice of the mule or if it was the actual mule himself that did the voiceovers. I don't know. But this doesn't look bad. I mean, I like how they make Francis look right here. So I haven't read this comic. It's interesting how it's kind of translucent. You can see the Dell parent pledge, but you can see it all the way through. Look at that. I wonder if all of them are like that or if it's just mine that's like this. So, what is this story titled, or what is it? It just says Francis the Famous Talking Mule. So, I remember actually enjoying these movies when I was a kid. They were like really good because it was like this: Francis joins the Navy, Francis joins the Wax, right? Francis joins the Army. There were like multiple ones just like that. I remember watching 2 or 3 of them, maybe even 4 of them that were like that. They used to show these movies on or not just 36. They showed them on Channel 2 on Dialing for Dollars. Did you guys have Dialing for Dollars in wherever you lived? Dialing for Dollars was a very interesting concept. We'll talk about if you don't know what dialing for dollars is, I will talk about it some other time when another movie comes up that will remind me of Dialing for Dollars and Pat McCormick, the guy who used to host Dialing for Dollars in San Francisco. But I have a feeling that Dialing for Dollars wasn't just a San Francisco thing. I think they probably had it all over the country. But anyway. Okay. Walt Disney's Robin Hood. This is another movie adaptation. So this is a Walt Disney movie, Robin Hood, that was out in the movie theater. See, look. Here's all the people in the movie, just like that other one we looked at, The Virgin Queen. That they didn't want to title the comic. Did you notice that they didn't want to call Sir Walter Raleigh the actual name of the movie, which was The Virgin Queen, because it's a comic book, right? What's going on back here? Alan Dale, the wandering minstrel, regales the merry men with a song. That's pretty good. That looks nice. I love the color on that. He's regaling them with a song. Maid Marian is rescued from the dungeon. This looks like a really good comic. I haven't read this, and I don't remember if I did see this movie. It would have been when I was really little, and it would have been if they showed it on Wide World of Disney. But I don't know if they did, so I don't think I've seen that before. I've seen this though. This is really good. This is on that Disney Plus thing. That Disney app is where I watched this a couple years ago. I like this purple cover. It's very nice. This is the authorized edition. Once again, Fess Parker as Davy Crockett. I like when they do this animated or artistic illustration mixed in with a photograph that also looks like it's kind of been adjusted. It's like 1956 Photoshop, right? It's really cool. It's totally it's not like 1956 Photoshop. It's totally 1956 Photoshop. I mean, you think they have Fess sitting straddling a log in front of a purple sunset, purple skyline? Look at what they did here with this photograph. Who knows where this picture is taken, but it looks cool what they did with it to make it look like that. I like it. Maybe you don't, but I do. Danger Upriver. So this is a good one. This is about this whole big battle with this kooky guy on this little steam or this little river boat. I forget how these things work, but they're moving them along with like these paddles as well. Here's this character right here. Mike Fink, that's it. Mike Fink's Keel Boat, the Goalie Wumper. So this is a really fun movie. I watched this. It was good. I bet you this comic is good too. You guys should pick this up if you're interested in Davy Crockett or Walt Disney or River Pirates. This would be a good one. Helen of Troy. This is a Dell movie classic. It's 4-color number 684. This is going to be cool. It's the Warner Brothers production, filmed in CinemaScope and Warner Color. It's again a weekly title, and Dell has licenses, as you're able to see what the comics we've looked at there. They have basically every major media corporation or company has a license with Dell, and Dell promotes whatever they've got every week, pretty much, in this Dell 4-color comic book. So this Helen of Troy movie must have just been coming out very soon, or had just come out or was coming out. Cool, huh? The art looks good in here. March of 1956. So this is actually like January of 56. Interesting. Maybe this was a Christmas release. That would make sense. Maybe this, because sometimes they would put out these big historical movies around Christmas time. They really did. And even though this isn't a biblical one, they still would put big movies out around Christmas time. Not that this was a particularly big movie, but it is a movie with a comic book about it. And not all movies have comic books, do they? This looks really good. This is the American Sign Language manual. Walt Disney's Donald Duck teaches kids how to speak to the deaf. Which is not their, I think everybody's reading lips at this point, and is being deaf even a handicap anymore? Really, it's like so minuscule in comparison to some of the big ones. You could be born black. Way worse than being deaf. But, so Donald is, I don't know what he's doing here, throwing up gang signs. Anyway, this looks great. It's another Duck album. And another photo cover. Another photo camera cover. And another example that these comics are not just for kids. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Oh, okay. Yeah, so as I've gotten older, as I get up there in years, my tastes have changed. Now I find myself attracted to older women. And there's something about Grandma Duck. There's something seductive about Grandma Duck, the way that she's always got that side-eye thing going. And right there, what is she doing right there? She looks like she's telling Gus, Gus. She's waving her finger. Yeah. I got a spot for Granny Duck, for Grandma Duck. Another movie promotional, Alexander the Great. Richard Burton on the cover. This is a big seller. Any magazines with this guy on the cover were big. So, just this comic book. This comic book. Even this comic book. Richard Burton and Frederick March. This looks really good, man. I'm telling you, this looks really good to me. This is the type of shit that I just loved when I was like 10 or 12, and I still love it even now. This looks really good. This is some history that I can get interested in, right? This is not that Betty Davis history. This is This is that I'm going to stab you in the gut with a spear history. This is the stuff that I like. All right, Alexander the Great. Pretty sure all these guys are homosexuals, right? Yeah. Little Beaver. This is 4-color number 695. Little Beaver's older now, right? Remember how we looked at him a couple days ago? A few issues ago, a couple years ago? 1954? He looked like he was like 8 or 9. Now he looks like he's 11 or 12 or 13. But in here he looks the same. He's still a little kid. Sometimes he looks like he's like 6. What the hell's going on? He's like a little kid. And this doesn't look like it's Fred Harmon. I mean, it says Fred Harmon, but the art is different. This is some wage slave that's working for Fred Harmon, and they draw the pictures, and then Fred Harmon signs his name and cashes the checks. Typical. Me think 'em cliff dwellers be gone long time ago. Me think 'em you right, Little Beaver. Me think 'em you right. I love this comic. The back of the spoiler. A lot of like biblical looking comics this year, 55 and 56. Are you noticing this? What is this? Oh, it's Prince Valiant. I thought this was another Bible story, you guys, or like another ancient history type thing. This is Prince Valiant. This is a Prince Valiant comic based on the adventure page by Hal Foster. This was a very famous and popular newspaper strip and Sunday newspaper insert or something, I think. Kind of like the way the Spirit was. I don't know. I remember when I was little, I remember asking my mom if she had read comic books, and she said that she liked Prince Valiant, that she read Prince Valiant. This looks good, right? I like the one page, the full page spreads. We've seen a couple of them. They look good. Very nice. An elk. Majestic. Oh, it's the Olympic. The Olympic elk. I like that. You guys familiar with the Olympic elk? I think his name is Bud. Bud, the Olympic, or Buzz. Skip, the Olympic elk. I don't know. He was a mascot for the Olympics in 1924. Not a cartoon. He was an actual elk that he competed right alongside of Jesse Owens and Adolf Hitler. This elk actually competed for the fatherland. This is the Reich's elk. Das Reich's elk. That's why Disney's making it. You know what they say about Disney, especially back here at this time. So that elk, that was the Olympic mascot for the 1936 Olympics in Berlin. His name was Yahtzee. Yahtzee, the Olympic Nazi elk. Yahtzee the Nazi elk. Yahtzee the Nazi elk. Here he is in here. See, look at him right here. He's screaming about something. I don't know what's he talking about. I don't know. Are we the baddies? Is that what he could be saying? What would he be saying? What would he be saying up in here? Mein Kampf. 1488. Chatelet, my brothers. Keck. Based. Look at all these MAGA elks. Look at this. I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. I can be a racist Nazi elk and no one is stopping me. So I'll proudly stand up with my antlers proud, my antlers in your face. If you try and police my free speech, I'll put my antlers in your face. Yeah, so this is a free speech zone and a free speech bird comic. Waterbirds. And I'm proud to be an American. Bongo and Lumpjaw. What the fuck is going on here? It's a beehive cover. So I'm not familiar with these two characters, Bongo and Lumpjaw, but they look good to me. It looks like it's well drawn. It looks entertaining. It looks deep. It looks philosophical. Remember what Socrates said. He said, I know that I know nothing. So if you're one of those haters, and you're going to come on here and you're going to say that a Daisy Duck's Diary comic is not going to be good, it's stupid, it's for children, it's ridiculous, it's got a pink cover, what's even happening here? She's got chocolate, she's writing in her diary, and Donald is spying. I don't know why he would even care. Right? Why would Donald even care about what she's writing in her diary? Doesn't make sense that he would even care. And this is probably, you're thinking, this must be an awful comic. Well, you'd be wrong. It's not an awful comic book. It's an outstanding comic book. Everything old is good and everything good is old. Everything new is bad and everything bad is new. That's your new mantra. Okay? This is a great comic. It's about television, which was a new thing in 1956. Not even everybody even had TVs in their house yet in 1956. People sometimes had to go places to watch TV, to other people's houses or to other places, like places in town, right? Like a bar or a fraternal meeting of the Olympic Nazi Elks might be where you might go and watch TV or something. A card room, a gambling establishment. Did I mention a bar? That would probably be it. So it looks like Daisy's having trouble with the set. And so she's got Donald helping her out with it. And holy shit, what's going on? So out of Daisy's TV set comes this great Garloo character, Great Gazoo type guy, predating Flintstones at this point. This came out before Great Gazoo was invented, but he's not an alien like Great Gazoo. He's a TV alien. He comes from the TV. I don't know. He explains it in here. You could probably pause it back there and we could get to the bottom of it, but we're running out of time. We've only got about a minute or two left before it shuts off. So just, in summation, you would be wrong to think this isn't a good comic because they're all good. They're all way better than you would think. And pretty deep. There's levels in here. There are levels. There's stuff happening here. See? Who is this hottie that Donald is? She looks like Betty Draper. Who is he dancing with? She looks like, is that her name? Betty Draper? From Mad Men? Donald is hooking up. Get wrecked, Daisy. See, I told you this is good. The last one today is Walt Disney's A True Life Adventure, Secrets of Life. This is beautiful. This is awesome. and they're going to be teaching, let's see, what are we going to start with? We have enough time. We got 1 minute. All right, we're going to start with the dinosaurs. This looks really cool. It's great teaching kids about the philobytes and the nanobites and the ones with the cenobites, the Hellraiser. This is like a cenobite right here. Anyway, a lot of this dinosaur stuff is theoretical. We don't really know that they look like this. All we have is this type of stuff and some bones. We don't know that we don't really for sure know. This stuff we know all about. Turns out that in most cases, like 99.9% of the time, it's completely binary. Okay, you need to have a male and a female to complete the biological imperative, which is what this is all about, which is procreating. You need to have males and females getting together and doing different things to secure a future for their species. That's what this is about, right? And it's showing how, like, these birds do it, bees do it. Even these bees over here on page 13 are still doing it. All these bees are doing it. They're just banging right here in this Dell comic. Can you see that? So that's what's going on here. But this, this wouldn't fly today. Nobody wants to live in a binary world anymore. Nobody wants to live. Nobody wants to fulfill the biological imperative. It's not hip. It's not cool. It's not cool to fulfill the biological imperative anymore. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this awesome video about these old comic books. Peace out.